Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 14th of June. So what we got in store today, let's firstly look at the news coming up here. So we've got the Bank of Japan, that's already come out, the details there. I've personally got to read through that a little bit more detail just to capture what's happening, but obviously rates being left untouched. There was an expectation at some stage, and it's obviously not this time because the forecast it has come in line with forecast, but I think the markets are hoping for something within the statement which is a bit more bullish or hawkish, and we're not really seeing that. They're just backpedaling as ever by the looks of things. Anyway, the market reactions you can see on by the technicals. Anyway, aside of that, this afternoon or today we've got very little in real terms here. I will just go look at financial juice and see, because it picks up at more speakers, etc. when it's to show me what's going on here. So got some lot of low key data. Aside of that, we've got a Fed speaker there at 1:30 and ECB 8:35. So we've got a couple of speakers coming through. Okay, not a lot else there at this moment. It's all sort of post 6 o'clock, so if you're day trading in the UK, it's not going to be too or make too much difference. Hopefully you'd be out of any positions by then. Anyway, let's have a look at these markets, and starting off with the euro. As you can see, this morning we're already on the downside. Yesterday didn't hold on to what was looking like it could have moved up. It never triggered my signal there that would popped on there, so that was if it ever is going to close, I'll do it later. Anyway, so never triggered the signal, and in fact with the news later on there, has eventually rolled over, looking soft at this stage, and it's not helped this morning with the yen data coming out or whatever else. We're just seeing dollar buying safety. Okay, now in terms of doing anything with this at the moment, well, there isn't anything to be done. It's double bottoming, so and I don't buy into double bottoms like this, so there's nothing for me to do from that perspective. Yep, I'd like to see it moving towards its pivot maybe. It could be a short off the pivot later, but with what's going on at the moment, it's just untradeable for me. The pound dollar, likewise coming off this morning, or it came off yesterday, stayed within the range of the previous day there, so gave us an inside bar. It is coming off a little bit more now. On the 4 hourly you can see the lower time frame, so structurally we're starting to change to the downside there. The quarterly pivot, it may be sort of giving it the cooling down here, with the 4 hourly 200 sitting around that area as well. Again, well, I'd say again, but this one it's gone lower here. If we're going to get a continuation to these downsides movements, and I say if because so often at this time, around this time of the morning, within an hour or so, things are changing direction. So you've got to be a bit careful, and this is why I tread carefully at this time. But we could, if it continues down, head off towards the daily S2, because the daily pivot hasn't been hit. The S1 has. It takes the probability of the daily pivot being hit, or makes it a lesser, so, and makes the S2 higher. So we'll see what happens post 8 o'clock, but the S2 could come into play. And as I said, below here we've got this quarterly pivot, which is a reasonable draw at times, and we might just see it push on through for that later. Dollar yen, I don't have setups on them at the moment. I have, there's a sort of these things are showing me things, but they're showing me potential, but I'm not looking to trade them until they give me proper setups. This dollar yen, well, we're not that far away from its this year's all-time high for the dollar yen. With what's going on, I don't know, perhaps we'll see some sort of talk of intervention again. I've been steering clear because of the 158 area seemed to be where it was reacting previously. It seems that the Bank of Japan don't really care about the currency, it would seem. Anyway, giving us higher lows at the moment, I'm just steering clear of it. I think there's too much risk of intervention at some point, but it's hard to tell what they're doing. They're between a rock and a hard place probably as ever. Australian dollar came off yesterday, but inside bar, arguably a bit bearish army, I guess. Broken down again this morning, giving us lower highs coming through here. It's down to its weekly pivot there. And again, this one here, it's just touching the S1 here. That means the potential of a pull back to the pivot is less. Generally, when we see this happening, we'll see what happens post 8 o'clock. But if it starts consolidating and breaking down, well, again, we've got the quarterly pivot S2 potential down there. So more likely to run on if it starts breaking through towards its S2 than turn the other way. And the trend is sort of there. It's a mess, really, isn't it? US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD remains relatively weak. Yesterday we saw the dollar pushing up there. I should say the CAD remains relatively weak. The US dollar actually looks fine, holding up, consolidating on this 4 hourly. It's a bit of an ugly beast that we've seen yesterday. If anything, just looking at it, it looks like it's got more potential to push up towards its R1, which would fall in line with the euro and the pound coming down towards their S1. Bear in mind it's inverted. Right, New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar, I was talking about this yesterday, or the previous day, had run into its yearly pivot. It's really struggling with that. We've got the sort of bearish army there yesterday. It's triggered and running down at the moment here. Lower highs coming through. So it's below its weekly pivot again. Already, now this one's already done it. It's already hit the broke through its S1 there and ran off to its S2. Can it go further? Of course it can. It's just the probability of running through into these pivots that are further away from the mean is less good to trade. So it has the potential there. It could equally, as I say, with all of these, I sit here sometimes when you see these sort of moves that we've seen during the Asian session, we do occasionally get a reasonable reversal come into play within an hour or so in the London markets, European markets. Dollar Swissy just doing its usual same old really, chopping along. I should stay clear of that for now. That might come into play against some cross pairs. Finally, a couple of the cross pairs. He says, I just clicked on the euro. It's just taking me back to the euro Swissy. Let's try again. Euro yen. There we go. Still chopping along here on the dailies. Really makes the lower time frames when you come down to it very choppy. But there is a bit of a range. Well, there was a bit of a range going within that chop, but quite an ugly looking market. You get these quick switchbacks. They've got look retrospectively. Harry Hindsight would say, "Oh, you're short there and you go long here," but realistically, when it comes to trading them, there's the uncertainty. You look at the price action that occurred here, it popped down, then all of a sudden rallying most of the way, at least we're probably at 61.8% all the way back up there, and then finally failing with the news later. Anyway, for now, in a no good place for me. Okay, I'm going to look through these rest of these markets in a short while in the trading room. I will just look at where we are with gold and the indices. Well, I know the indices made new all-time highs yesterday because I read it. Gold. So gold yesterday rolled over. Does it? Switches these things back for some reason. It's as if someone's having a little play and they're pressing the buttons just as I'm about to point something out here. Anyway, pivot swing sitting there, which is bearish. Break of yesterday's lows would be more bearish there, but again, it's just gone into a mess. I tell you what, this isn't funny. It just keeps changing back now. I'm not even touched anything and it's switching back. Anyway, 4 hourly messing around here. Just looking what's going on. Yeah, quite a mess here on the spot gold. It is just pushing back up there, but there's nothing I'm interested in. Oil, crude, Brent, not Brent, Western Texas, same look. Here we go again. So you press that button and it switches back. Oh, the fun of having a trading view. Look, it's done it again. It's like it's as if someone's messing around here. Look, it's switching between the two. Okay, I give up on it. The software is not working particularly wonderfully today by the looks of it, for whatever reason. Right, hopefully we can see what's going on here. So crude looking a bit iffy where it is. It's back into its monthly pivot at the moment. It's the first time it's got back up that way. It's broken through the yearly pivot, which was a support area previously. Would have expected that to provide a bit more resistance the other day, but it hasn't. It's pushed on through. Anyway, into its monthly pivot here over the last few days, consolidating where it is. It's a bit of a wedge pattern going on there. Wedges are much more unreliable in terms of trying. If it's just a straightforward consolidation, it's a much easier. Well, it's going to push up some more. The consolidation is near the highs, but it's as I say, it's a 50-50 throw of a coin when you get these patterns. They're not reliable. They haven't got the sense of a flag. Much more reliable. S&Ps pushing up there. Said on the old system there, new all-time highs yesterday. It doesn't look like it's made a new all-time high yesterday. 4 hourlies certainly didn't make a new all-time high yesterday on the FTSE, on the S&Ps anyway, but it was pretty close to it. Maybe the cash market did, the futures didn't. But consolidating round the highs, this is probably more likely to run up there, although it's a bitty old mess at the moment. Coming out back into the dailies, as I said, if the market start looking at like a roll over for any reason, this is the better pattern to be doing it from. DAX, okay, DAX lower highs, lower lows, still flicking through there. Yesterday, solid down day there, and I mean, you can just see it's in this larger range. I mean, you could be range trading this, and if it starts breaking back up above here, giving us a higher low at some stage above, well, there's no point me reading these numbers out because they're different on each broker. Slightly, they've all got their own numbers that they're using. Anyway, you can see the price action though. But if you see the break above this bit of price action, we could get a move to the upside there. The FTSE equally looking quite weak to me at the moment. We have confirmed a lower high a few days ago, and it's just really consolidating where it's sitting at the moment. But in that consolidation, it's putting the lower highs, has put higher lows, so it is a bit of a wedge, and it does become unreliable. So in terms of the patterns and in terms of determining where this is going to go, it's much more difficult. The bearish engulfing on the lower time frames here would suggest further downside, but we need to see a break of the lows there first. Right, okay, so bit of a mixed muddle. Sorry about the charts today. I have no idea why TradingView does that. Just does it from time to time, just flickers. As I said, it's as if someone is messing around my charts. Anyway, on that note, that cheerful note, I wish you a great day's trading. There's not a great deal to come out today, but just trade carefully. It's Friday. Don't give it back. Have a good one. Bye for now.